In this video, we will look at the entire consumer decision-making process, which has a total of 6 steps. Before marketers create any promotional message to effectively attract the potential tourists, they first need to understand how consumers make purchase decisions. The consumer decision-making process begins with the need recognition. In general, this is when the consumer realizes that there is a problem which needs to be solved or a need that has to be fulfilled. Gastronomic tourism is driven more by the internal needs of the foodies, the need for leisure, excitement, adventure, exploration, novelty, learning, and social experiences. Or perhaps the need for relaxation, self-discovery, and reconnection. These needs require some sort of action in order to be fulfilled. There may be various motives to travel to each destination, and a trip to each destination may be driven by several underlying needs. The second step of consumer decision-making process is information search. This is when the consumer may take time and effort to learn more about the desired product and destination or other similar alternatives for both formal and informal sources. Promotional materials, websites, third-party reviews, blogs, recommendations from family and friends. The third step is evaluation. This is when a consumer analyzes all the information and available alternatives out there. The consumer would then weigh the pros and cons. The length of this process may vary depending on whether that purchase decision is classified as low involvement or high involvement. Low involvement would feature products or destinations which are relatively inexpensive, simple, familiar, and require very limited information. Some examples would be a day trip to a nearby city and repeat business trips to the same city. For these cases, there just isn't much motivation for the consumer to do any research. On the other hand, high involvement decision would feature products which are rather expensive, complex, unrepeatable, and rely heavily on extensive research. Imagine how much time you would spend if you were planning a 3-week vacation in Europe. You will also spend quite a lot of time for special and once-in-a-lifetime occasions such as a honeymoon or an anniversary. Marketers will rely on more rational and informative messages for high-involvement purchases because consumers will seek a lot of information. On the other hand, emotional messages that focus on pleasure and gratification will be used to stimulate purchases that are low involvement. Then the consumer makes the purchase decision and selects the destination that provides the most benefits and satisfaction according to his particular needs and desires. Then the consumer uses the product, or in this case, enjoys the food experience. Note that this particular experience cannot be entirely designed in advance, as it doesn't depend only on the producer or supplier, but as well as the customers in order to co-create. The very last stage is post-purchase evaluation. In this stage, the consumer will decide if that particular purchase decision met his expectation or not. And because unlike a dress or a pair of shoes, a food experience cannot be returned if the consumer is not satisfied. Once it's done, it's done. This is why it's so crucial to ensure that the experience is at least satisfactory, if not impressive. Unsatisfied customers will start questioning if he should have gone with another alternative or not. This is known as post-purchase dissonance. The more money spent, the more chances that it'll occur.